we want to elongate this cable. Sometimes you can find that it is very small or it is having some issues, so maybe you like to replace with a new one or elongate just what you have. So what you do, you remove this plate. It is screwed by 4 screws, 1 2 3 4. So I unscrew them. So after unscrewing, you unmanage this cable having this sensor, and then you just remove the plate like that. You, after unmanaging this cable from these slots, you remove the sensor like this using a small screwdriver or something. You remove like that. After that, there are these stacker fingers on the stacker wheel. This is called the stacker wheel. On the stacker finger, on the stacker wheel, you accumulate the stacker fingers on one side. So there is a way you do. You move them like this, then align the through slot. Also this one, remove it to that side. Then when you align, you can now bring it up to this end, and then this other one also you align it, then bring it to this end. After that, we shall remove C-clips that are holding the bearings on the side. There is this C-clip. You remove it and keep the C-clip safely, and then you also need to unscrew this sensor. There is a sensor here, so that sensor you unscrew it. And then remove the sensor. Sometimes when you try to remove the sensor, you get that it's not getting out like this. So you rotate the stacker wheel as you pull it out like that. Then you'll just see it coming out. Then we also remove the we have a cover here which we shall unscrew so that we access this C-clip that is holding the stacker wheel. So we remove that C-clip again. So now we have an access to remove the stacker wheel. So we shall push the stacker wheel on this side having the cable. Push it like that, then remove the bearing on the other side, and then on this side, using the stacker wheel itself, we push out this bearing, and then now we are free to remove this belt coupling the stacker wheel with the motor. We remove that belt. Just remove the belt completely so that you have it. Then at that point, you can now push the stacker wheel on one side like that, then remove it. So the stacker wheel is out. Then we unmanage the cable like that, the clamp cable. Manage the cable like that. So now we want to remove the recoil spring having the cable. So there is this point that we shall push inside, and there is also this point. There is a metallic plate here that you will push against using a flat screwdriver. But before you push, there are some clips here that you need to press inside. There are 3 clips here. This clip, this one, and this one. So you kind of push them inside, but softly and not very hard. So when you push them a bit inside, then you push at this point using your flat like that, then leave it at that. Then come on this side. There is also this clip, plastic clip holding the recoil assembly. So you just push it just a bit, and then using again a flat, push here on the metallic plate, again come back on this one, push. So you're just doing it in steps, slowly by slowly, still pushing together the clips on the other side like that. So when you check this side, you will find that it's now almost getting out. Okay, now you hold it, you make sure you enter your fingers inside and hold the metallic plate together with the recoil assembly and pull it outside like that. So we now have the recoil assembly. It is here. If you are successful, you will get something like this. So what we want to do is to remove this cable. For our case, we are going to replace with a new one, but you also have a chance of just redoing the same cable. So what we do, there are two notches, this notch and this notch. They are the ones holding this plate on top, and then there is a way it hooks inside this. So what you do, you raise it like this so that the notch is no longer holding. Okay, what I'll do, I'll put it down so that I do from down, so like that, and then there is this notch too. Then I'm doing it like this, it's going like anti-clockwise, clockwise, it should be clockwise. So clockwise, clockwise, like that. So as you can see, these are the provisions that entered within the hooks, the plastic hooks, and this one. So I remove that cover. Then when at this position, I'll do coil it this way so that the actual coil is pulled together like that. Then when it's like that, at this point is where it is hooked onto the plastic, so I just pull it out like that, then hold it like that. While holding it together, I remove this inside part. So using a small C-clip of this size, I'll clip at this point like that so that it holds it that way. So this way the coil cannot jump outside. So I remove that cable, and I also remove this cable. So on this cable we have two ends. We have the end that goes to the clamp, and the other end that goes to the board. So I'm going to use a new cable. I have a new cable here. The cable has two ends. So this is the end that goes to the board, and this is the end that goes to the clamp. So we have some few measurements here that we shall do. So for the side that goes to the clamp, I'll have 80 centimeters, or basically 32 inches. So I want just to measure 32 inches. Mark 32 inches is here on my tape measure. So I'm doing that cable up to this point. If you don't have a tape measure, it is basically the length from your fingers like that up to somewhere close to your neck like that. So what we do, when you are holding the cable this way, the connecting part or the scratched part facing up, so you shall go with it that way, still facing up that way. Then I'll fold inside like this, so that this other end, the scratched part will now face down. So once I've done that, again I'll fold here about an inch. It's about an inch like that. So I have the assembly like that. You can see like that. So on this other side, the side that goes to the board, we shall have about 29 inches or 75 centimeters. 29 inches or 75 centimeters. So it is up to 75 here. 75 centimeters or 25 inches here. So again, this one, you be careful. The scratched part will face up like that. Then you come on this part of the assembly, you make it enter this slot while the scratched part facing up like that. And remember, you are still holding at the 75 centimeter mark. So when it gets there, you fold it at 45 degrees like that. So it goes in like that. So on this other side, remember how you fold it. At this point, you take this part of the assembly, then you enter it inside like this. So there is a provision here. This is a provision, whereby you enter it like that, then you press it. My folding was slightly more than what I require, so what I do, I just remove it and adjust a bit like this. Then again I try. So it has now entered well. So that is what locks the cable from getting outside. So I'll coil this cable around this part of assembly like that. So when you're done with your folding of the cable around this part of the assembly, the scratched part should be inside, so that you have the blue part at top. So I'll use this small glue. Basically it's masking tape to hold this cable there. Then I'll just trim off this excess tape like that. So this is just holding it in position. Now once that is done, I now start coiling this cable around on this part of assembly like this. Like that until the whole of it is coiled on it. Like that. Like that. Then when I get at this point, it should be like it's a continuation. When I enter this assembly like that, it should be seamlessly like it's a continuation. So that is what I do. Then holding at this point so that this thing does not jump outside, you press it inside like that. Then holding like that, you see the C-clip just jumped off, but I'm supposed to be the one to remove the C-clip. So when it's at that point like that, at that point I'll just unwind a bit, because I want this hook to come and hook at this point. So I'll just unwind a bit like that. Then the last part will go through these provisions, this slot and this slot, like that. Like that. Remember, you are holding at this point so that it does not jump outside. Then like that. Oh, problems are facing me. So when something like that happens, you again wind it like this so that you begin afresh. So the idea is that I want to unwind it a bit so that it can enter at that point like that. So it is now well hooked at where it's supposed to be. So I take this cover, this was the inside part, and then so I just enter it like this, like that. It comes like this. Then when you look at this there's this small part, and this bigger one. So this bigger slot is the one that goes around this cable like that, and now as you can see, there is this notch that is should enter just below the plastic notches like that. So like that. And to make sure that you've done the correct thing, you should find that these notches are holding here and this one holding there. So at that point, you're now free to let it uncoil itself and get ease. So it is free. The remaining part, we want now to return it into the top unit or the SAT module. Okay, for us to confirm that this side of the cable that goes to the board is okay, when you hold it like this, you should get the scratched part at the top. So we are okay. And also when you look at this recoil assembly, you'll find that there is a notch. There's a notch here, small notch here, this notch. So that notch in this SAT module, it's supposed to go through this slot. So that is the guiding principle. So you take the cable, holding your recoil assembly well, make sure that the scratched part is facing up like this, so you make it enter through that. Then you pull. Then now you want to make sure this notch gets through this gap. So like that. Once you are sure like that, you can just press it like that and you will hear some clicking sound. So you test like this, then you see it's okay. It's okay. So the next thing we are going to do is to return our stacker wheel assembly. So you just do like that and make it enter like that. So we have our belt that the cable, the belt that couples the stacker wheel with the motor. You make it enter that way and make sure that it's going around the green gear, and then you couple it with the motor. You couple it with the motor. It's a bit tricky, but once you try several times, you just make it happen easily. Then you put the bearing. Put the bearing. Put the bearing and the C-clip. That is the small C-clip. Again, there is this other bearing also. Put it and put the C-clip. Oh, I lost my C-clip. Well, let me just retrieve it. This is a common occurrence. Having a magnet on my screw. So now I'm done. So I return the stacker wheel in its usual way. So I'll just align. There is an alignment that allows it to go through, and there is an alignment that makes it lock. So I lock it. So the stacker wheel is okay. After that, I manage my cable. That's the normal way it is managed. So like that. So I make it pass through this manager, cable manager, like that. So I'm now ready to bring back the metallic plate, the metallic plate. So it will go in like this. So the first thing to do is just to make sure that this sensor is in position. Cable management will be done afterwards. So like that, and then I screw it back. So I screw it back. So I've returned the metallic plate, so I just manage the cables like that, cable management, so that they don't interfere with any movements. So again I manage this cable through here, also through here. But it's supposed first of all to be held by this cable tie. If you have several cable ties, you can just retie it, but I'm using the cable tie that was used before, so that is like it should be, like that. So like that. Then there is this sensor that we removed here. So when I try to return it like that, it's not. So I just rotate the stacker wheel a bit. Then there are some holes that will just let it align and then get in like that. So I finalize by screwing the sensor, and that will be the end of our tutorial. Thank you.